So basically the question is, how much do I pay someone else to help to execute the delivery on my $5,000 package? And my question to Dawn is this, and by the way, I do have a very straightforward answer, which I am going to share, but I had a flip chart today, so I kind of just decided to overuse it. So first of all, I would say, Dawn, what's your 3-year vision of your company? Okay, we're not going to go into like super detail or do like a bunch of 3-minute exercises or anything, but I would say, what's your 3-year vision? Is that 3-year vision for your company to sell the company? Do you want to sell it for 3 years and for $2 million, $10 million, $30 million, whatever it is? Do you want to create a company that is supplying you with passive income? So you want like an automated business that runs without you? Do you want to impact X amount of people with your business? Is that the goal of your business? Do you want to just make as much profit as fast as possible in your business? So my question is, what is the 3-year vision? And that is going to lead not only to how much do you pay someone, but it's going to lead to what is the kind of person that you hire. So one of the most important things in running a business is people, attracting and retaining really, really good talent. If your answer to this question was, I want to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible, then my answer to you is you're going to try to find someone who can do the work for as little money as possible, train them in a way that they can just kind of execute on your system. And it's all a systems driven job, and you could replace them if they walk away. And the next person to come for that job could follow their systems or follow the systems that you build. If that's what you're trying to do, is make as much money as possible, pay them as little as possible, because that's where you get the most profit, and have a systems run position that you could replace them anytime that you needed to replace them. If your intention is to create passive income, then you need 2 things. You need really good people, and you need really good systems, right? Because passive income means passive, you're not the one doing the work at all. Like, you're fully removing yourself from a business, which is what in my mind constitutes an actual business, not just a job that you're kind of replacing yourself in. If you're wanting passive income, then this one, you might pay them a bit more potentially. Maybe there's some people that you want to have a little slice of equity in your company, right? So that when you're gone to the Bahamas or wherever it is that you want to be, that they have just as much a vested interest in your business being successful as you do, right? So you might think of bringing someone on who's in a quasi partnership role because they're going to run the company for you. When I did this, so I've done each of these kind of outcomes, and I'll give you my background on each of these and my own experience. When I was trying to create passive income, the reason is I wanted to travel around the world. I was 28. I wanted to travel around the world for a year. And so I brought on 2 minority partners. They both owned less than 25%, like 24.9% each. So cumulatively, it was like 49.8%. I owned 50.2% because I still wanted to retain ownership of the company. I brought these 2 partners on who made more money if the company made more money. Therefore, our intentions were aligned. And I traveled around the world. I said, you guys, I want passive income. I don't want to work a day for the next year. You guys pay me, I think I said, each of you guys pay me $7,500. And I'm gone for a year, but you guys keep all of the money that you make. You don't have to give me a percentage. So we just swung a deal. That's the deal we did. So I made 180 grand, traveled around the world for a year, worked 0 days, completely passive income. And then I ended up selling them the company afterwards. So this was actually really nice because I had to remove myself to actually create this passive income. And so the natural next step for me was to sell the company. So my suggestion here, from my experience, I really like the idea of bringing people on that have a real vested interest, have a bit of ownership in the company, if this is what you're trying to create, if that's passive income. If you're wanting to make as big, we've already talked about the big profit. You just hire very competent people, put systems in place, pay them what they're worth, but don't overpay them, is what I'm saying. Because if your intention is profit, then you don't want to be overpaying people. That's going to be your biggest expense, is salaries, right?
Right.
So that's big profit. And then selling a company, then your intention here is you have to have amazing systems in place. You have to. That's what you're selling. You're selling the lead gen systems, you're selling the sales systems, you're selling the delivery systems. That's what you're selling here. And the way, just as like a quick little sidebar, but I think very relevant to everybody in these businesses, this is a very viable option, you guys. Too few people think about actually selling their businesses. And so to sell your business, you might think, well, how much would I charge for my company? How much would someone pay for it? I'm gonna give you some really basic equations or formulas, not even formulas, freaking this plus this equals this, ways to decide how much would your company be worth if you wanted to sell it today. Here it is in a nutshell. This is like a service-based business, very back of the napkin valuation, but a valuation means the value of your company. Like, someone's going to evaluate your company and tell you how much it's worth. They're going to do one of 2 things. They're going to look at either the gross revenue, so how much you made in total in that year, and then they're going to apply a multiple to it. If Dawn went to sell her business, now no one's really even going to give her a multiple because she's the face of it. It's Dawn. It's the Dawn show. If Dawn leaves, it's not really a business yet. It's a cool small business, but it's not a business that could run without her yet. She has the ability to replace herself because she has a system that she's developed. But what I'm getting is they'll take your gross revenue. Let's say you make $1 million a year, gross sales before any expenses. Then they apply a multiple. Let's say Dawn has replaced herself. It's a systems run business. There's a bit of a proprietary process that she brings people through. So it's quite unique. It's not like someone could just start it up the next day and make more than her. They're going to take this 1 million and they're going to say, okay, we're going to give her roughly a 3x multiple. We're going to say this company's worth $3 million. Again, this is very basic. I've heard some people say 2x multiple. Some people say 4x multiple. If Dawn had an app that was super proprietary, meaning like she's the only one who, she developed it, it's all very unique, and she owns the technology, this multiple might be exponentially higher. But for everybody on this call specifically, it's with service-based businesses, this is a typical multiple for your business if it's systemized. If we went to sell our business today, we wouldn't be able to sell it at a 3x multiple because I'm too much of the face right now. So part of our trajectory for the next 3 years is removing Taylor from the face, making it more of a brand. And if you're thinking, oh shoot, I'm making myself as the face, this is bad, I advocate for everyone to make themselves the face for the first 2 years. That's the fastest way to like get people in the door, build trust. So like a lot of you guys bought because I talked to you on the phone, right? And like, I trust this dude, Taylor. Like, I'm going to do this thing. He's got my back. And now that we're at a point where our business is doing well, then it's time for me to start stepping back, replace myself with systems, replace myself with marketing. And so by the end of 3 years from now, you guys would look at the company and be like, where the heck is Taylor? Only you would know that I even exist in that company. Other people from the outside wouldn't. So it's just part of the kind of the overall process or the overall plan. So a typical multiple could be 3x what your company does in gross revenue. And the other way to look at it is what your company does. We'll just keep it simple. We'll say EBIT. The actual term, the longer term is EBITDA. You guys have probably heard about this before, but what this stands for is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So a simpler way of saying is your EBIT, earning before interest and taxes. So what that means, in essence, your net profit, okay? Like how much you're actually making at the end of the year before taxes. So if your company, like in this example, did $1 million in gross revenue, then you'd likely want your EBIT. Most people are shooting for like a 30% or somewhat kind of net profit, 25%, 20%, depending on the industry. I really like to shoot for 50%. You want to be at a 50% net profit, again, before taxes. So if you sell, Dawn, I know you sell packages at 5,000. If you sell it for 5,000, at the end of the day, after all of your expenses, I want you taking home 2,500 before tax. So that then leads to, and where we're getting at with this is, if your intention is to sell the company, then you're going to think about how much do I want to sell this company for? What is the number that I want to sell this company for? Do I want to sell it for 10 million? Well, then I know that I'm making 3.3 million in gross revenue. I didn't get to the multiple. The EBIT multiple, it depends on a lot of things, but just very basic is going to be 6 to 8%. So you use 6 to 8 times your EBIT. If it's, I don't know, let's say it's a 6x multiple, then what we would do is we take a calculator, like on my computer here, and we'd type in, I want to sell my company because I'm Dawn for $10 million. And then go divided by 6 equals basically 1.7. So if you're doing 1.7 million take home before taxes, take home, and you're doing that consistently, and again, there's other factors like continuous growth. Like no one's going to give you a 6x multiple if your company's on the way out tanking, but you have a healthy growth margin. Ideally, you've got some monthly recurring revenue built in, so it's not just lump sum payments. That's a bit more in depth of a conversation. But if you have those things in place, say about a 6x multiple in that EBIT, you want to be doing 1.7 in EBIT, like I was saying, which kind of happens to be the same number here, right? If you're doing 3 million in gross revenue and you keep 50% of that, that leads to roughly a 1.7 EBIT. I probably could have picked some simpler math, but I think this is pretty simple. So that is like if you're wanting to sell a company. So back to Dawn's question, how much should I pay someone? Then again, what is the intention of this company over the next 3 years? Well, I want to sell it. Then she knows that she's got to put really good systems in place, and the people that are in place need to be replaceable. You want the best people you can find, don't get me wrong. And we want to know, the people that are buying this company want to know, if that COO or that coach leaves, is this company going to tank? If the answer is yes, then it's not as sellable a company as you want it to be. So there's going to be systems in place. So when Dawn hires this first person, she wants to go, okay, here's your checklist. This is what you do for every single client. And she's going to sit back and watch and go, oh, they screwed up on number 7. Oh, it seems like number 8 isn't thorough enough. They blew it on number 10, but they got all the other ones. And she's going to tweak and refine that system so that basically you want to be able to put anyone in that place and they can bring those clients through a really wonderful delivery process. How much should you pay someone on a $5,000 package? You want to pay someone at this point in your business, Dawn, which is the beginning of your own new package, because you were working with someone else before and now you're doing your own thing. My suggestion would be to pay someone based on the work that they do, not based on hourly work yet. So an example of that is when we first started the Idea Collective, the way that we paid our head coach was we didn't hire him full-time at first. We said, I think it was $250. We said, we'll give you $250 per person that you walk through this process. Right? Or maybe it was 500, it was a while ago. We'll give you this much money per person that you walk through this process. And here's the touch points that we need you to hit with these people, right? Here's what we need from you. And he's like, great, done. So he started working for us as a part-time gig, right? Because at first we were bringing on, 4 clients a month or maybe 10 clients a month. I can't remember how much it was at that point. Anyways, we didn't want to hire him full time because he was a very talented person and it was going to be a pretty large expense. And then once we got to the point where here's the transition, once we were paying him the amount that we would be paying him full time, then we hired him full time. Because then because at that time, maybe he was delivering on 10, 15 clients a month. Let's just say it was $500 that we were paying him per client. Then let's say we're going to pay him 10 grand a month, then as soon as he's at 20 clients, then we want to hire him full time because then he's going to deliver on 20 clients. We're going to pay him 10 grand a month and we can probably give him more clients to deliver on and there's no increased cost to us. So it's going to be a little bit different and fluid for everybody's company, but that's the rough formula. And the reason that you don't want to pay someone hourly at the outset is because that's a risk for your business. If you go through a month and you have a bad month, you got to pay them whether they did the work or not. I would rather pay someone more per hour on a contract kind of per unit basis in the beginning than paying them per hour, because it reduces your overhead, which reduces your risk. And it basically aligns them with when you make revenue, they make revenue. But at the moment, my suggestion would be to hire a contractor to execute those packages for you, Don. And the cool thing about right now, is as entrepreneurs, we've talked about this before, but you have the opportunity to negotiate. There's so many people looking for part-time gigs, stuff on the side, stuff that they can make a little bit extra cash. We are in a very different place now than we were in 2019. 2019, you're almost beholden to hire people full-time because everyone was making tons of cash, doing what they're doing and whatever it is. We're at the point now where a lot of people are being very flexible and there's a lot more people available, a lot better talent available than there was before, and they can come on for a reasonable rate. They'll be super grateful to you for having the work, and then they can turn into full-time if and when your business gets to the point where it makes sense.
Hey, I hope you liked that training, and if you did like it, please click the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the comments, and if you want more information, down below I've got a free training on exactly the step-by-step process to landing a TEDx talk, making $10,000 a month from your purpose, and living your purpose full-time. Click the link below for that free training, and I'll see you in the next video.